Welcome back to Barbie's Diary. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for always stopping by. I cannot sincerely thank you enough. You know that it's never going to stop. Thank you so much for always stopping by. Thank you so much for always checking on me, checking on the channel, watching my videos, and all the love and support. My name is Barbara Omododo. I film about family, lifestyle, and career from Lagos or Abuja, Nigeria. Like you may already know, I am back in Abuja. I went to Lagos for the holiday and to see family, but right now I'm back in Abuja and back to work. Today is a special day. I'm just going to go right into it because it looks like we have a lot to discuss, and like you might already know by the title of today's video, we'll be discussing offers and negotiations. Before now, in the career series, we have previously talked about how to develop a targeted resume for your potential employers, and lastly we discussed interviews and interview tips. It was such an engaging session, if I do say so myself. I enjoyed making those two parts, so if you have not watched it, I'll put a link here to the last one we had, which was the interview and the interview series. So please do well to check on that before you move on to this one. Like you already know by now, it's a moving train. We started off from the very beginning, and right now we are at the third part. So can you believe that we are already at the third part where we'll be discussing offers and negotiations? So if you're interested in this kind of content and in all my kind of content, please keep watching. Welcome back. We're going to jump right into it. Like I mentioned, today we're discussing offers and negotiations. I mean, you have done that beautiful interview. In fact, you have started off with a targeted resume to that potential employer. They called you back for the interview. You have done perhaps a test first and then the interview stage, and they believe that you are the right fit for their organization, both in terms of skill sets and experience, as well as you fit the culture of the organization, and they have made a fantastic offer to you. Now the ball is in your court. What do you do? I have written a list of things I would like to discuss. It's just a paper list of what I would want to discuss, so I don't derail and so that I take them seriously. And I really do hope that you stay to the end of this video. It's going to be a very interesting one, very interesting, very engaging. I'm going to give real life experience and real life examples based on my experience as a HR professional, as well as my experience as an interviewee. So yes, I have interviewed people, I have offered letters to people. I've also been on the other end too, whereby persons have made offers to me. So I would give you the perspective of both a HR personnel making an offer to a candidate, as well as a potential employee, so an interviewee who is perhaps expecting a letter. And like you know, in the like I like to say, the best time to negotiate an offer is when you're not looking for a job. I hope you understand that. The best time to negotiate an offer is when you are not searching for a job. So what that means is you're not active, you are currently working, you have a place where you go to every morning or every weekday, and you work, and then you perhaps just had an interview and somehow you were lucky enough to get the job. That is the best time to negotiate an offer, you know, because you really might not have anything to lose. I mean, if they don't come back to you, you still have a job you're doing. The worst time to negotiate an offer, like some of you would already know by now, is when you are desperately looking for a job, when you literally do not have anything you're doing at the moment, and you know within yourself that you need money to survive. You're not depending on your father, your mother, your sisters, your brothers, nobody. You need money to survive. That's the worst time to look for a job or to negotiate an offer, because at that time you're at your wit's end. You are desperate. You are, anything that is thrown at you, there's the potential, there's a possibility that you might just fall for it. And I would say that you should never, with that being said, I would like to expressly state that you should never be at that point where you are desperate. Yes, life happens to a number of people, and then they're at that point when they don't have a job. But please never be desperate, because even if you do not say so, your actions, your words, your body language, the way you respond to their emails, the way you respond to the phone call might just, you know, show to them, or might just expose to them that you are possibly at your wit's end, you are anxious for this job, and that can water down your chances of getting a good job or negotiating a brilliant offer. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's just start off this discussion. So you've done well at the interview, and you are at home, you're praying to God, you've fasted, you've done all the good stuff, and you're just hoping and expecting that an email drops in your mailbox. Like I like to say, I've said so in the last 2 series, please ensure that you are always checking your emails. Another thing, looks like I can hear myself in my head. That's because I have a cold and I'm just managing myself. Okay, so yeah, so let's continue. Like I was saying, you're anxious, you're waiting to get that mail drop in your mailbox. You're checking your mailbox literally every 2 hours to see, oh, are these guys sending anything? Are they going to get back to me? Or you've asked them and at the interview before you left, and they told you, oh, if you get to the next stage, you are going to excuse me, if you get to the next stage, or if you're going to the next stage, we'll get back to you within the next 2 weeks. And so you're at day 13 or day 12, and you're just like, what is happening? Nobody's getting back to me. Should I keep waiting or stuff? And then boom, you receive that offer of employment in your mailbox, a letter. So a lot of company has different modalities or different ways they send their offer letters. I will just give a few examples. I know some people just straight up send you an offer and they say, oh, this is what we're giving to you, and then you have to read through it and get back to them. Some other people, we called you first to tell you, not to negotiate, to tell you, okay, you were successful at the interview, and right now management has approved that we make this offer to you. We intend to pay you 20 million annually. Should we go ahead, or is this something you want? Perhaps you were negotiating for 25 million and they said, oh, they have 20 to offer to you, or you said 18 you said 18 to 25 or 20 to 25 or something, and then they are saying, oh, they have 18 million or 20 million to offer to you. So they want to know, are you going to take it? Do we need to just bounce and go look for someone else, or should we go ahead? They do not want to waste your time or their time. So if it's something you're not willing to do, and if that is where the company's budget for that position is at, perhaps they don't want to go further, they don't want to increase their budgets, and you don't want to reduce what you have said. So can we just shake hands and just go our separate ways? So some people make that first call to say, oh, our offer is for this, should we carry on with it? Should we send you an offer letter for you to see, or is it you are not interested? Should we just shake hands and everybody go their separate ways? So there's that part. There's another part where at the negotiation, at this stage now, they send you a series of questionnaires to say, oh, okay, you passed the interview stage. So they send a series of questionnaires saying that you passed the interview stage. Please fill this, fill that. They just keep sending you stuff, and you're getting the hint that, okay, it looks like I'm moving on to the next stage. So you do all of those things then before they start sending their letters. So a lot of companies adopt a number of methods. Depends on what works for them. Depends on what they are used to. Depends on what their culture is, because sometimes it's their way of doing stuff. So depends on what their way is. They send you an offer, okay? And so let's assume that they call you on phone and they say, hello, my name is Barbara Omododo. I'm the HR business partner at blah 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 company. Congratulations, you were successful at the interview that held on so date, and we're about to make you an offer, okay, for the position of legal director or company secretary or HR administrator or insurance executive, something, okay, whatever it is you applied for, you know. So, and the salary offering for that position is blah blah blah. What is it, something you're willing to take? Or, and then you say, oh, thank you very much, I'm grateful for that, for the privilege of moving on to the next stage. I would like to review the offer. Okay, so they've told you and you're like, okay, so thank you very much. You are the one responding now as the interviewer. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I would like to review the offer. Can you please send me the offer so I can look at it? And they're like, oh sure, we'll do that. And then shortly after the call, they send you a detailed offer letter, 4 pages, 5. All of this again is depending on the company that is recruiting. So some people have offers that are 20-page long. Some people's offer has as little as 2 pages. Some people's offer as much as, so it just depends on what works for their company. And then they send you their offer, and that is why we are here now. All the modalities, however it is they are sending it, what we are discussing today is how is the offer itself, and then your negotiations with the company. Okay, so they send that offer letter to you. It bounces on your mailbox. I need you to, from now on, pay rapt attention to everything I will be talking about, because this literally can make or mar everything you have worked hard for. So you might just find yourself in a situation whereby you have negotiated poorly, and then you have to live with it for the next 4 or 5 years of your life. 2, 3, 4, 5, depends on what it is for you. Or you find yourself in a situation where you have negotiated well, and then you are happy to resume. Okay, so please listen really carefully. The first thing that should happen when you get an offer letter in your mailbox is to acknowledge that you have received it. It is bad manners. It is wrong. It is professionally inappropriate for you to get a mail. It mustn't even be an offer letter, any mail at all. Even if you are, like I like to say, and you know, like most of the companies I've worked for, the policy is that you should acknowledge the mail within the first 24 hours. I think that is even a really long time, but let's just say that you're so busy. You should be able to say, thank you very much, so person, I have received your mail and I would look at it and get back to you. Now, I'm not even talking about offer letter. I'm just saying generally, any mail you get. Now, the mail might be asking you to do something you might not be able to do instantly, or you might need some few days to do, or might even take months for you to do. But the right thing is to say that you have received it. Acknowledgement. Now, some people have automatic or automated messages where they immediately you send a message to them, it just bounces on their mailbox, and then that automatic message hits you too, that says, oh, Barbara has received your mail, and she would act on it. So if it's something you can do on your system or on your laptop, please just have an automated message that says, hello, thanks for sending your mail, I'll get back to it as soon as I can, or something that just shows that you've acknowledged. Now the highlighted word there is acknowledgement. So you're just saying I have received. You're not saying you have accepted what is in the mail. You're not saying, oh, I'm going to work. So people that see mails and turn their eyes the other way, basically because they don't want you to know that they've gotten the mail, I don't know what that is for. The fact that you're saying you have gotten the mail does not mean you agree with what is in the mail, does not mean you have indicted yourself, does not mean it is your bit to do the work that is in that mail. It just says you have acknowledged. So when you look at that and see that it's not your bit, then you can now say, hello sender, unfortunately this is not my bit, can you please refer your mail to so unit to deal with. Okay, so we're not talking courtesy today. Let me not derail the conversation. So please, the first thing to do when you get an offer is to acknowledge. Let the HR or the sender know that you have received that mail, and you will get back to them within the time frame they have set. So usually they would say in their mail that please, you have to respond to this offer between now and 7 days or 14 days or 1 month, depends on what they say. Ensure that you read thoroughly, but we'll get to reading thoroughly, but ensure that you know, you are conscious of the timeline that you have placed, because that timeline will help you and also help them. In case you are not taking the offer, they can know what next to do, whether they are moving to the next candidate or starting the whole process afresh. So ensure that you respond to them, that you have gotten the mail, and that you get back to them within the timeline they have placed. Usually it's a very long timeline, so it's enough time for you to either make up your mind whether you want to do the job or not. Okay, so like I said, acknowledge the letter first, and then secondly, please read thoroughly. I cannot overemphasize the importance of reading thoroughly. Read thoroughly, as in read everything. Do not skip a line. Do not skip a line in letters. Letters are funny, and sometimes they are not out to get to you, but you know, we're just such as the world is such the world is, it has been made in such a way that what might work for A might not work for B. So another person might see that offer letter and applaud it, but it might not work with your own dynamics, with your own self, with your own processes, with your own. So ensure that you do not skip a line in your letter. Okay, read thoroughly from the dates. Read, because sometimes if there might be an error in dates. So imagine that is your offer letter and the HR is not perfect. That's something we all should know by now. And so imagine that there's an error in date. So the letter is supposed to read today's date, maybe a date in July 2022, and then it's reading a date in August or September 2022. It's already an issue. Even from the date, be sure that everything on that letter is as it should be. Okay, so you read the date, read your name, your address, be sure that they did not spell your name wrongly, so that in case you think it's your letter and then you find out that, oh my god, they were recruiting for another position and somehow that person also bears Barbara. Read every single detail. The offer letter might not contain just your salary. It might also contain some other details like you know, benefits and all of those things. So read every single detail thoroughly. It might do you well to give that letter to an expert to also read. It will do you even better if you have somebody in-house. So please look at the letter really thoroughly, read it, give it to a subject matter expert to vet for you, to be sure that okay, the basic things have been covered, and most especially when you're coming into the corporate world space or the career space for the first time. I'm talking about new graduates, people fresh into the workplace. Please ensure that you give your letters to someone else to proofread for you, to vet for you, and to point you to areas where you should be asking questions. Okay, so now that we've said you should read thoroughly, give it to a subject matter expert to look at for you, the next issue that is equally as important is to ask questions. Some people think it's a taboo to ask questions. No, I have worked in the HR space and I know for sure that a number of people have come back to say hello, because usually on the letters you would have, oh, if you need to ask questions or seek clarification, please contact Barbara Omodudu on blah blah blah. I state your number and your email. And then I've had people come back to me and say, hello, please, could you spare me a moment to let's discuss the letter you sent to me 2 days ago or something. Sure, it's part of my work, so I have to make you feel comfortable with what I have sent to you. And so ask questions. Ask anything you do not understand in that letter. Please ask questions. So please ask questions when within the time frame you've been given. Okay, so ask questions, and I'll just point you to some questions that you would ask. This is not exhaustive. Okay, so this is not everything. This is just basically highlights that would help you to make more research and, you know, come up with what or questions you should be asking at the interview. Okay, so net pay. Most times the offer might come to you as a compilation of your annual gross salary. Okay, what that means is what your earnings would be for the entire year. And with that, you might not be able to calculate precisely what you'll be earning on a month-to-month basis. So it is important that you place a call through to the HR to find out what your earnings will be per month. Net pay is what comes to you after all deductions have been made on the salary. What is it that would hit your account on the so date of the month? Let them tell you, so that if you resume on the and let it, all they are telling you, it will be nice if, as much as I like phone calls, I also like mails, because of course with mails there are trails. So like I said, this is not an illegal conversation, so you can send it via mail. Say, oh, please state all your questions there, 10 questions, let them answer one at a time, so that it is documented. And so tomorrow you can say, oh, when I was talking to the HR, she told me that my salary at the end of the month will be 500,000. Would you please explain to me why I'm getting 350? Do you understand? So please, it's important that you note that. Okay. And another thing that I remember was I was talking about salary just now is your payday. A lot of, I don't know how people work month by month without knowing, okay, that on the 20th of the month my salary would come. I don't know how people work. Some people, in January they receive their salary on the 20th. In February they receive their salary on the 28th. In March they receive their salary they receive their March salary on the 6th of April. In April they receive their salary on the 10th of June. You know, I don't know how people work like that, and it is not healthy. If you are a career person, and if you have expenses to run, you know that you need to know when your salary is coming, so you can schedule your expenses, so you can know that, okay, my salary will come on so day, I'll be able to pay for this and pay for that. If you do not know, you cannot plan. So please ask them, can you please let me know on what date salaries are paid? So some letters come with this, you know, it's already in the letter that you get a salary on the 20th of every month. You'll get a salary on the 31st day of every month. But if the 31st falls on weekend, you get it on the last working day before the 31st. You know, those kind of conversations, so that you know what to expect. Because the best time to make this conversation is when you're outside, and when your letter, you know, they've given you a letter. So that's the best time to have this. That's why offer negotiations, they are like this, they work hand in hand. Okay, so the best time to have this conversation is when you're literally literally outside, because the moment you come inside, whatever you see you take. Okay, all right, so that's for time. So it's important to know when your salary would be paid. Then it's also important to know what your benefits are. So sometimes they've written this wonderful stuff on your about gross salaries and all of those things, but you do not know what other benefits you'll be getting. So for instance, would you be getting call cards? If you're a marketer and you have to make important calls, would you be getting call cards every month? If yes, how much will it be? If it's something you guys have spoken about during the interview, it's important that you also make mention of it. Okay, you mentioned that as a field guy, I'm entitled to a car and a driver, as well as call card and monthly car maintenance allowance, all of those things. So how do those things work? You do not want to come inside and then you now start all the things they promised you at the interview stage. You are inside now, you're not getting any of those things. So you ask them, okay, I'm a marketer, you said I'm entitled to call cards. What call card do I receive? How much is it? How does it operate? Can I call on numbers, or is only the numbers within the office space I can call? Then for car, am I entitled to a car? If yes, who would fuel the car? Who will maintain the car? Am I entitled to a driver? You know, get all of these details sorted. Let it be stated. Let it not be a case of he said, she said, they said. So please ensure that as they are saying it, you are taking down notes and you are asking questions, and asking them to send a corresponding mail, so that we are all on the same page. Okay, so if you're entitled, know what your benefits are. Do you get quarterly bonuses? Do you get annual bonuses? Do you get some kind of staff performance uh, bonus? Do you get I mentioned call card? Do you get even paid trainings? So would you go for training? Would they schedule you for training and then you have to pay out of pocket, or would they pay for you? It will aid you, it will propel you to do more. I mean, when you know that if you come in, you get additional pay, or you get reimbursed for passing so and so exam. Your own is just to read the book. And then when you're even leaving the organization, those certificates go with you. But then it aids you to develop yourself. So at the point when you still be with them in the organization, you would use those learnings from those courses or from those trainings to impact the organization positively. So it's important that you know what is in it for you. But then taxes, statutory taxes, it's important you know how much you have to pay as statutory taxes. Not just, there are some statutory deductions that are made on your salary. What I mean by statutory deduction is that it is compulsory. It is government that has said these monies must be deducted from every working person in Nigeria. Taxes are one of them. So you must pay taxes to the government. You have NHF. NHF is also one of those compulsory deductions that must be made on your salary every month. So NHF is National Housing Fund. Okay, there's the NHF. You also have the pension, contributory pension. So the employers have to pay a certain percentage, the employee have to pay a certain percentage. That must be deducted from your salary every month. Okay, ask them, what are the statutory deductions on my salary every month? So some companies, like I'm aware of, they do not deduct pension or NHF from their employees' salary. One, they are breaching the law, but that's a conversation for another day, right? And two, that is something you would benefit from much later, perhaps for pension when you become of age or when you retire, and for NHF when you want to get housing, right? So all of this, some companies don't deduct from the employee's salary, right? But if your company is compliant, then you should know how much is deducted from your salary. Now for pension, it is 10% for the employer and 8% for the employee. So well, all of this you should know how much is deducted from your salary. You see why you should subscribe to this channel and you should follow up this career series. These are things that nobody tells you about. So please ensure that you know how much goes off your salary every month. That is for your benefit, because it's a savings for you when you become of age or when you retire. You get access to your pension funds. Okay, so yeah. Ensure you know what the statutory deductions are on your salary. Ensure you know if you are entitled to leave allowance, to 13th month, to Christmas bonus, to Salah bonus, to any of those bonuses. Just ask those questions, okay? That's for statutory deductions. That's for statutory deductions. You might want to ask for company handbook. And when I was writing this, I thought of a lot of scenarios where if somebody has asked me for company handbook before the person comes into the company, I possibly wouldn't have given the person that, right? And I'm not sure I've had anybody ask me that question. I'll tell you why I said so. Because a company handbook is an internal document for staff. I don't know if that makes sense. So it will be difficult for me to hand you our constitution when you are not a part of us. Those are internal company documents. That's why what I would advise is if you ask for and you're not given that company document, fair enough, please understand why, but then you can ask for specific things that the HR can provide for you from that document. So like all of this net pay, all of this benefit structure, all of this will be contained in that document. So it means you are asking for stuff from that document, but I can't hand you the document before you become an employee. During your onboarding, which we will later discuss, I can give you, I would literally, not I can, it is my duty as a HR professional to give you all the policy documents that will be that would help you settle into the company. So it might be the communication handbook, it might be the company handbook, it might be the company ethics book, it might be, you know, the dress code policy, it might be a lot of policies that would help you to settle in and to understand the culture of the environment easily. So I can give that to you when you become a part of us. But if you're still outside, if you have not accepted the offer, I might not give you that document. However, I would encourage you that, oh, please read through your offer. If there's any specific question you need to ask concerning the company handbook, I would provide those answers to you and give to you, but I cannot give you that document. Okay, so if you ask for and they don't give you, please don't feel a certain way. Okay, now with company handbook, I remember, let me give a personal example. I remember, so even if you're not going to take the offer, don't say, oh. The thing I would like to touch on really quickly is the don'ts of offer and negotiation. So what are your don'ts? The don'ts of what you should not do during offer and negotiation. The first one I would say is don't revert after the timeline. Revert during the timeline.